So tell me, what do the cards reveal? What's the truth they conceal? She's the high priestess with the key to every question that's haunting me. A lover's heart or a warning from the past. In the terror's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos, I find my place.
In the tarot's embrace, I'm spellbound at last. Truth's come undone, it's a dance we must face. In the chaos, I find my place. The moonlight glows, the veil is thin. Lunar affinity will call again. Thanks for walking in the light, where guides whisper pure insight. Until we meet, the cards will wait. Mystic whispers guide your fate. With every message our spirits send, for cosmic dreams our souls transcend.
Hey everyone, welcome in. I know that you guys don't always see me on the weekends, so just know this is kind of like an impromptu live stream. I probably won't be on for very long tonight, so if you're interested in getting a donated reading, just get those in early this evening. My suggestion is within like the next 30-ish minutes probably. We also have a angel donor giveaway to do tonight. We had someone else donate, which means that one lucky winner this evening will get a free mini reading from me. Thank you to the donor that did that. This person did not specify if they wanted to be anonymous or not. So I am going to give them credit for it. IJ was the donor this evening. IJ Eves. So thank you, IJ, for that as well. Make sure that if you dropped a yes, no question in the chat that you're liking the live stream as well. Thank you. Hello for liking. Sweeter, I will not be here tomorrow that I'm aware of. Monday might end up being offline readings. So if you want to make sure you get a reading with me, try to do that tonight. Tomorrow's a definite no, but Monday might be a live stream. I'm not positive. I think I might be here. I don't know. Sorry to like not have a direct answer for you there. Is something going on with the live stream? Are you guys saying it's buffering? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the free list really quickly. Just a reminder that if you want to partake in the giveaway for the angel donation, make sure that you stick around until the end of the free list so that you can enter to win. Okay, thank you guys. Ari, I am getting a no. I have the Hanged Man. Sophie. Yes, the Fool for Sophie. Margaret, I remember I don't answer questions in regards to law when it comes to things like that, like legal financial matters. Feel free to rephrase your question. I might have to start putting my disclaimers at the beginning of the chat or something, or somewhere in the chat. Ajaz. I have 10 of Cups, yes, for Ajaz. Hello, I have a yes, Temperance. Space Cowboy, yes, 8 of Wands. I'm going to answer your first question, Afsane, because you asked 2 questions in one. So I'm going to answer the first part, and I'm getting a yes, 3 of Cups. Ocean Summer, yes, the Lovers. Culture. I have a no, 5 of Swords. Nat. Yes, the Sun. Okay, sweeter. Yeah, so just, stay tuned with my Instagram stories and you'll know whether I'm going live or offline on Monday, okay? You're welcome. Hello. All right, guys, make sure that you're liking the live stream if you asked a yes, no question. Hey, IJ, welcome in. How are you? All right, this is for Ray. Ray, I have a no. Boss Lady, I have a yes. 3 of Cups. Queen B. Yes, the world. Sweeter. I'm getting a no, sweeter. It might not necessarily mean bad news is on the way, but it's not particularly good news. Margaret. No, 9 of Wands. Elias been looking at me without me knowing. Okay, let me see. Yes, 6 of Cups. Positive Bear. Yes, the Chariot, dedicated. Mass Stain. I'm getting a no, Mass Stain, Knight of Swords. Amy, me and Elias haven't really been talking much at this party, and I've not been around or near him at the party. The party's still going on. Oh, okay. Interesting. You're welcome, Positive. Remember, guys, I can only answer questions for 1 more minute, so I'm going to get through as many as I can. But if your question does not get answered, just stay tuned because we are doing a giveaway tonight. Please make sure you're liking the live stream as well if you plan on participating in either the free reads or the giveaway. IJ, yes. Temperance. Bria, no. 9 of Swords. Luna, no. 10 of Swords. Meredith. Three of Wands, maybe. Sienna. Seven of Cups, maybe. White Chick, yes. The Wheel. All right, last question of the night. It's got to be Pretty Girl. Oh, I'll do Fabi too because they posted at 10. You're welcome, Sienna. Pretty Girl. Yes, Ace of Pentacles. And Fabi, last free yes, no of the night. Yes, Page of Swords. All right, we are doing an angel giveaway right now. All right, drop a clover in the chat if you want to enter the giveaway, please. You're welcome, Fabi. All right, so I have Amy, Fabi, Culture, and V, Pretty Girl, Meredith, Luna, and Boss Lady on the list for the giveaway. If you want to enter, drop a clover in the chat. You don't have to do anything besides just dropping a clover. There's no like qualifications to enter to win. This is completely random. We are not doing any more free questions of the night. That cut off a couple of minutes ago, but if you still want to participate in the giveaway, to enter, drop a clover in the chat. I'm going to leave the giveaway open for maybe one more minute, and then we are going to lock it in and choose a winner. Hey, Diamond, I'm good. How are you? The free list is always, the time that the free list ends is always in the subject of my live streams. I am Eastern Standard Time, but you'll always be able to see what time it closes there. I also have a scrolling banner across the bottom of the screen that lets you know that the free list is closed, but we are working on right now a giveaway. So if you want to enter, drop a clover in the chat. We're about to close this down and select a winner. Good, Diamond. I'm happy to hear you're doing well. All right, we are going to lock in the free list. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Good luck, everyone. That's looking kind of crazy, but good luck. Culture, oh my gosh. You won, congratulations. Amy, we're getting closer to you. Congratulations, Culture. And IJ, thank you again for the donation tonight as well. for the angel donation. I appreciate you. I'm sure Culture does as well. Everything else is closed for the night, friends. Donations are open. They'll be open for another like 20-30 minutes, and then I'll be wrapping up and signing off. So if you want to get a reading tonight, just make sure you get those donations in soon. Culture says I really shouldn't enter these. Wait, why do you say that? Yeah, definitely have a general reading for sure. Okay, let's shuffle for you now. Well, you know what? That just means you're blessed, girl. I don't keep track of who's won before and who's not. That's too much headache for me to do that. I just think you maybe need, a little extra good karma is coming back to you, I really feel the more you do for other people, the more you support other people, the more you get back. Hey T Dalla, so if you look at the pinned comment in the description, there's a link that will bring you to my Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo info, and that is the way that I accept payment on here. If you're curious about what I offer, you can check the description, and all of the pricing information and reading options are there. Let me know if you have any specific questions for me. Oh, funny thing, Culture. I wanted to tell you, my husband and I are watching a show right now called Abbott Elementary, and it's like a comedy, and it's really funny. But in one of the episodes that we recently watched, that same night that you asked me about your career, and you were telling me that it's not fulfilling and it feels not corrupt, but you were telling me about what it is that you do, and you're pushing alcohol sales and things like that. And it's funny because there's a girl on the show, one of the characters does exactly what you do, and the mom was hoping that her daughter would find something that brought more help and more good to humanity rather than hurting it. And she felt like her daughter was so talented that she shouldn't be doing something like that can leave a negative effect behind her. And it was just so crazy because it was the same exact night that you had done your reading, and it was the same exact situation. So that was kind of crazy. Yeah, the show's really funny. I got a couple seasons now, so my husband and I binged quite a bit, and we're working through it now. Hey T Dalla, that sounds great. I will add you to our list. If you want to know where you're going to be, it's after IJ. I just posted the donation list a few minutes ago, so just scroll up a little bit in the chat and you'll see where you're at right now. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you because it reminded me, these cards that I'm pulling reminded me of that. So the first card I pulled was the Five of Swords, and I asked, well, because this talks about conflict and it talks about kind of feeling conflicted within yourself, not really sure like what to do, how to move forward. maybe dealing with people in your life that are feeling like they just want to get ahead and they just want to win no matter the cost. And I was like, well, why would she be feeling this way? Why does she feel like she's surrounded with these kinds of people? Or why is she also feeling conflicted within herself on what to do? Because this is the card of like a lot of tension and a lot of headache and just something that might weigh very heavily on you. And they showed me the Ace of Wands and the Seven of Wands. And the Ace of Wands talks about new inspiration that's coming in. And I feel like maybe you're looking to feel inspired in some way. You're looking to feel passionate about something again. You're kind of waiting for something to happen, maybe some job to open up, or maybe some sign, like you said, from the universe that, you know, I think what this feels like to me is you feeling out of place and you feeling maybe stuck and feeling like you're in a situation that you know you probably should have left a long time ago, and feeling like you're still there is making every other part of your life feeling a little bit out of whack or out of control. And you're welcome, T-Dalla. And I'm getting that it's just putting a lot of pressure on you and stress. And I feel like every single day you're just kind of going through the motions and you're trying to like rise above it. We have the Seven of Wands. You're just really trying to not let things get to you. But I feel like a lot of stuff can be piled on, unfortunately. But what this message is that you will overcome this. Yes, things are going to get to you. Yes, some things are going to bother you. And you might not have great days, like in terms of your career or whatever this is. But they're saying that you will overcome it. You will get through it and find something that you love to do, which is the Two of Cups here. I also have the Sun, which talks about the sun shining down positively on the situation. They are spirits encouraging you to continue to do your research and find ways to put yourself out there. The next thing that's meant for you, it feels like kismet. It feels like the right place at the right time. You just can't believe that it all worked out the way that it's supposed to. It does feel that it requires a call to action from you first. So I'm happy to see that you said you were looking for jobs today, because I feel like that's what is needing to happen, is for you to be putting yourself out there a little bit. But I feel like the right thing is just going to kind of like fall out of the sky, so to speak. It kind of feels like it's something that just falls into your lap, and it's because of the work that you've been putting in. But at the same time, it's, I think, a little bit unexpected how well it just kind of works itself out. So I think just keep doing what you're doing. But I want you to walk away with the understanding that like where you're at right now is not going to be forever. And I know that your experience up until this point has felt like you're just living the same thing over and over and over, and having the same feelings about this over and over, and wondering if you're ever going to get out over and over. But your experience up until this point doesn't have to be your experience moving forward. And I just want to assure you that you're being like protected, and like you are going to find the next thing that's for you. You said you were looking for jobs today and all you could think of is other jobs in the food, bev, wine, because you live in the seat of that industry. I need to examine my values more closely. I think so. I think a beverage industry is fine, but maybe let's do something more holistic. Do you get what I mean? Like, because when I did your reading the other night, it didn't feel like you were completely changing industries, but it felt like you were doing something that was more in line with your beliefs, if that makes sense. So you could do, like, for instance, my aunt, she has a company called Elevate, and It's a natural, like it's got adaptogens in it, and it's basically like a mood enhancer drink, but it doesn't have alcohol in it. It's like you can make mocktails from it, and there are certain ones that it's like all like natural ingredients, and there's certain ones that help with like energy, certain ones help with sleep, certain ones helps with like feeling better overall, just general mood enhancing. So like maybe you can look into like a way to do that or something, or something on the more holistic side, pushing beverages that add to someone's health, if that makes sense. Hey Amy, thank you for the donation. He said, I'll keep my head up. Thank you. Clearly needed this reading because I was doubting. Appreciate it. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, next up on the list is IJ. You're welcome, Sophie. Yes, health-oriented stuff is more up my alley. Thanks. You're welcome, Culture. Hey, Emily, welcome in. Yeah, sorry you missed it. Okay, so this is for IJ. It's still good to see you, Emily. So the one thing that I'm hearing, IJ, which maybe I don't know how you're gonna take this. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you'll be like, that's annoying. But I feel like when she's watching your social media and things like that, she's paying attention to a couple of things. The content that you're posting, but also she's paying close attention to who you're posting about, if you're posting with anyone, if there's anything going on in the background. So I don't know if she necessarily wants you to know this, but it's the message that's coming through, is that whenever you post solo and you don't have like anyone else in in the picture, like let's just say if you have like a lady friend, or you have a sister or something, that basically she wouldn't know if this is like a romantic interest or if this is just a friend. I think that would get her like going a little bit faster. But I feel like every single time you post, that's more like thoughtful, philosophical picture of yourself. But we're not seeing anyone else involved. It's like for her a check-in, a mental check-in. Okay, phew, we're good. Like I have more time because clearly he's not talking to anyone. So she almost looks at this as like an indicator of do I need to like rush and make a move, or do I still have time to like do whatever it is I'm doing before him and I come into union. So I think that there's a lot of happiness that she feels and like non-jealousy whenever she sees the things that she sees on your social media. But she's looking, I feel, very specifically to see if there is another woman in your content? Is there someone else around? Are you interested in someone else? So my thought process would be, if there's any people in your life that you have pictures with, whether that's family or that oh, bless you, honey, or like a friend or something like that, I dare you to post that, because I definitely feel you're going to see her coming around more, maybe being like, cute picture, who is that? I think you're going to start seeing like more interest from her as well. But if you're not trying to invoke any kind of jealousy, which is fine if you don't want to do that because you're a mature human being, then just know that she's kind of using this as a check-in. She's using this as an indicator of like, how much time do I have before he loses interest in me? And like I said, that's not necessarily what she wants you to know, because I know that's your question. But maybe it's something you should know, because that is the message that came in for your reading. Let's see. That was like a really strong message. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else here to tell you. Amy, I got it. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that she wants him to know right now? Do you post a lot, IJ? Like, would you say you post like at least once a day? The reason I'm asking is because I have the Three of Wands, which to me speaks to opportunity, and Seven of Cups, which speaks to strategy. So it's almost like she's Eight of Pentacles working on a opportunity or strategy to communicate. So I feel like, and maybe I've told you this before, I don't know, but I feel like the more you post, the more you share on social media, the more she has to respond to. And so I see here with the Seven of Cups is that this person's kind of got their hand to their face. They're like looking at what they've got in front of them, and they're kind of like thinking deeply about something, like, should I respond to this? Is this something that resonates with me? So another thing that might be important for you to know as well is like prompting in terms of your social media. I know that you're looking for her responses, but I think that the more you post, the more you share to your stories, the more you post about yourself, she has more material to work with to engage with you, if that makes sense. So I feel almost like maybe she wants that. I don't know. Maybe she wants more of an opportunity to communicate with you, but not everything you post resonates with her. So she doesn't always have something, or maybe you don't post enough. So then she feels like she really doesn't have anything to fall back on. I'm not quite sure. I feel like it's one of those two things. Let's see. There's one message that's coming in right now, but I need to pull to understand it a little bit more. So give me 1 second. They also want you to know that her plan is to actually communicate more with you. So you might notice an uptick in communication as well in the next couple of weeks. That was the message. I just wanted to double check and make sure I understood it clearly. So you can expect more communication from her in the near future. Let's see if there's any final messages. Anything else that she wants him to know? Aw, 10 of Cups. That's so sweet. We have a lot of feminine energy in this. I think that she's doing something with her feminine energy. She is either spending more time around the feminine, she is maybe spending more time meditating more. I mean, like I know this sounds kind of crazy, but they talk about how like you can work with your womb, like in your body, and like dig more into like that feminine part of yourself. Surrounding yourself with more women is also another thing. And just generally doing things that are more like feminine oriented. I don't know exactly why this message is coming through, but my assumption is because she's been heavily in her masculine energy and she's been work, 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 go, 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 busy, 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 action oriented. And I think that she's trying to find a way to balance out maybe the more softer side of herself. So I see her hanging out with like groups of women or even sometimes with the hermit here, you know, even spending more time with herself, but doing maybe more feminine oriented things that inspire, things that provide creativity. If there's an outlet that she likes, like if she likes to scrapbook or paint or bake or cook or whatever, it allows for that creativity to come through. I feel, is trying to engage more in those types of activities. So, what the important message for you overall here, bottom line, is that she's trying to find ways to soften more into her feminine energy. I think with her, you're always going to get that masculine, go getter mentality from her. But I think that she's wanting to enjoy more like softer side to herself. So she's trying to engage in activities that would allow for her to be more in a feeling, thinking, creating type of state. And you said she went to a ladies athletic club event today. Oh, that's cool. Pickleball. She wants to get better with baking. I encourage her to lean into that. Well, there you go. That's actually funny that was one of the examples I gave. So I think that just her making sure that she's setting a time aside to dedicate to those types of things, it makes me feel like she's starting to kind of prepare herself for a relationship. And that might not automatically click and make sense, but typically women who are in their masculine are very independent and they don't want a relationship. They don't want to rely on anyone else. They want to just do their own thing and be on their own. Women who delve more into their feminine energy are more willing to open up their hearts to consider a relationship. So I think that the reason that pertains to you is so that way, you know, maybe she's trying to prepare herself for the next stage, which I feel would be entering into a relationship, working towards marriage, that kind of thing. So it seems like good news overall for you. IJ, is there anything else you wanted to add on for, or does that answer your question? All right. IJ, thank you again for the angel donation tonight. T-Doll, thank you. So I saw earlier when you donated, you said that you donated for 2 mini love spreads. So, couple questions. Who do you want the love spreads on? And did you want option 1 or 2 or both? Oh, okay. Okay, so those love spreads are intended for romantic love. However, I am more than happy to adjust for that. Okay, so one for a crush and then one for your sister. And you wanted the number one option for both, right? You want the one where it talks about how you both are feeling and both of your intentions and what you need to know and underlying energy. Is that correct? You want the first love spread, option number 1 for both. Okay. Got it. Got it. Hey, Amy, we just got one person ahead of you. I did respond via Instagram as well. Okay. You're welcome, T. All right, so let's start with your crush really quickly. Let's see what we've got here. Do you have an initial for your crush or a name or a code name or a zodiac sign or anything that can connect me to your crush? Oh, well, happy birthday to him. All right, Q Aries. Q Aries. Hey, Amy, no worries. If you're in and out, that's okay. I understand. Q Aries. Okay, so how you feel versus how they feel. I can understand if this is even a little bit confusing for you. in terms of like what is Q feeling or how is Q perceiving you. So let's just start with how you are feeling. I have the Chariot. So this talks about you feeling like you're wanting this to progress. Okay, Amy. You're wanting this to progress forward. The Chariot is a card of action, wanting to go ahead and just get behind the wheel and get this ball rolling and get this car running. Like, I feel like you're in a place where you would love to see more progress. The Chariot is a very determined and dedicated energy, so it feels like you are feeling for him and he's like the only one that you've got on your mind right now, or maybe the only one you have your sights set on, because the Chariot is very single focused and single minded. How Q is feeling for you, we have the Two of Pentacles, clarified by the Three of Wands. I don't think that Q is as certain as you are. With the Two of Pentacles, sometimes this can feel like a juggling act. Q potentially could be interested in you and someone else and not really sure what to do there. Or this could just speak to Q's uncertainty, like not feeling as sure or as certain as you are about this connection. As a yes, no, maybe, this is a maybe card. So it just indicates that there's a lot of uncertainty. I'm just going to use that word because it's the only thing that's coming to mind surrounding your connection for him. It's clarified by the Three of Wands. So I feel like, Q is definitely open to something that could go down between the two of you. Yeah, that's why I feel like you're very determined. The Chariot is here, like you're wanting you're wanting some action. Okay, that's literally what the Chariot is. So I feel, yeah, I feel like you got your sights set and like you know what you're wanting, and I feel like Q is not so sure, not so certain. For your intentions and their intentions, we have the Three of Cups for your intentions, and the Three of Cups can sometimes talk about like open relationships. It can talk about friends with benefits, because the Three of Cups talks about third party situations. So it would make sense that your intentions are to have just a fling. You're not trying to do anything serious with this person, which would indicate the Three of Cups, maybe indicating that you're fine if there's a third, or you're fine if, you guys just hook up and then you move on to someone else or whatever. Like, it seems almost like with the Three of Cups, you're just kind of open. For Q, with the Temperance card, it's making me feel like the intentions are to temper himself. Like, I don't know if Q is the right person to have like a fling with, to be completely honest. I feel like Q knows themselves much better, and like they can have a fling, but it might not be what you're looking for. Like, I feel almost like Q has the potential to catch feelings a little bit faster or something. Like, the Temperance card indicates that Q is trying to maybe have more self-discipline or self-restraint or self-control in this situation and not make that move. Like I said, with the Three of Wands, it means that there is curiosity, there is fantasizing, there is excitement at the thought of hooking up with you. However, this person is trying to not do that. Like, they're trying to have control, like self-control. So it's a very interesting dynamic. That's why I was like, I wonder what's going on here. What you need to know is the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like you're laying down the groundwork. I feel, T, that you're going to get what you want in the end, because here's the thing. I think that Q is very much interested in hooking up. The problem is being very clear with the intentions here, because I think that you're a dog with a bone, for example, just for lack of better words. I feel like you're just like, I want this thing. Like, this is what I'm after. This is what I want. And I feel like you're really good at getting what you want. So you're planting the seeds, you're saying all the right things, you're engaging in the right way, whatever, however you would word that. And I feel like the seeds are planted, or they're going to be planted. So I feel like that's also just indicating that you're going to get what you want out of this, but also just keep in mind that you might want different things or expect different things. So you guys just have to be really like open and honest with each other. And then the overall energy, we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. I feel like I'm trying to think how to put this. This is like a very what is the word? Sexually charged reading, by the way. But I have the Ace of Pentacles, and so like the overall energy is wanting to hook up, like wanting to give each other parts of yourself, if that makes sense. And the Hangman a lot of times can indicate that there might be delays, but it probably will happen. And the Hangman also can talk about maybe doing things that are generally out of your comfort zone. So maybe that's coming from Q's perspective, or maybe there's some things that you want to do with Q that maybe you haven't done before, or you want to try some new things. So it's just like kind of being open to whatever. So T, that is what I have for you for that question. Let's pull for your sister and we'll go in a different direction. Hey S, welcome in. How are you? Hey Jasmine, how are you? Welcome in. You're welcome, T. Thank you for that information. All right, let me update the donation list really quickly before I get started with T's second question. Just so everyone knows where they are at. Yeah, absolutely. I am going to go ahead and close the list now. But that is great. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Virgo. All right, so that is that for the night. SB, hey girl. 13 loves for any question, put them in Cash App. Thank you, SB. Are you gonna stick around or are you heading out? Sometimes I feel as though my sister doesn't like me, but she won't directly say it or act like there isn't a problem. I ask her. Ugh, okay, let's take a look here. JW Virgo. And T. T and JW. T and JW. T and JW. Okay. Good news. I do think that you guys will reconcile and get on the same page. I do feel like your sister does love you. I feel like your sister does have um she does it in her own way. Let's be clear. But I think that she feels very conflicted. The overall energy being the Two of Pentacles makes me feel like she feels a bit torn between you and something else. And I feel like she doesn't know exactly how to place her energy with you the right way. Um, I think that when she's spending time with you, she's or talking to you or thinking about you or whatever it is, when you guys, if you guys are in each other's company, you feel like she's like not fully there and like invested in that relationship. And I feel like that's because she's always thinking about like what other people will think or what else is going on. Um, what else she has to get to. I think she just has like a funny way of displaying her love. And like what I'm also hearing is that you thought things would change, like you thought things would be different, like you didn't realize that this is how it was going to be, either for so long or something. So I'm not quite sure if something changed or if it's always been like this, but I feel like you want to feel that familial bond with her because we have the 10 of cups, which or 10 of pentacles, which is family. And I feel like she's very much distracted. Like she always has like her mind like in another place. And I don't feel like you fully get that engagement from her that you're really looking for. And that's where her head is at. I did specifically ask if there would be some kind of like reconcile where you guys would finally get on the same page or you would get to an understanding. And I did get a yes. I got the Ace of Pentacles. I also have the Hierophant and the Sun, which indicates that positivity will come from this. You will feel like you guys are in a better place at some point. The Hierophant does talk about family. It talks about family traditions. It talks about feeling like, you feel like you want to feel like she's your sister. You want to feel like, you guys are on the same team, on the same side, that she's going to be there for you, that she's going to fight for you. And you want to feel like that support and unconditional love from her, which I don't think you get. Maybe it feels conditional. But the Hierophant talks about the way in which we identify with someone, the way we were brought up, the way we were raised, our morals, beliefs, traditions, our values, all of that stuff, and feeling like we understand each other on a level that nobody else can or nobody else will. And I think that's what you're looking for. And that is the energy that I'm picking up for you guys right now. I think you guys are going to make progress. I have the Chariot here, and this indicates like forward movement. I did mention the Chariot in the last reading, which indicates dedication, determination, forward movement, forward progress. So I feel like with all of these cards, it indicates to me that you guys will come to some kind of understanding at least. I feel like for you, you're looking for that that feeling like you've just got this bond with someone. Like you want this connection with her that almost feels telepathic. Like you want to feel close to her in that way. Because the High Priestess indicates like we just have gut instincts, we just have gut feelings. Like for example, me and my sister, like she'll be feeling a certain type of way and I can text her and be like, hey, did something happen? Because I'm feeling off or I'm feeling weird. And she'll be like, oh my God, how did you know? Yes, this happened. Or we'll say the same thing at the same time. We're not twins, but we have like that telepathic connection. And I feel almost like you're longing for something like that with her. Like you would settle for less, but you wish that you guys had like a closer relationship. I do, like I said, King of Cups, I do feel like she has love for you. Like I do feel that she just loves you in her own way. Speaking of my sister, I just got a text from her. I feel like she just does, she has a funny way of showing her love. Like I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. I'm sorry that it feels very conditional for you. Um and I feel like from her perspective, it's like I think she does want things to get better. But you said that you don't talk to your parents. I don't think she likes confrontation, by the way, so I think she has a hard time with that. You're a very much more direct person than she is, and I think that's part of the issue is that she feels like she doesn't know how to express herself truthfully to you. She might take issue with the fact that you don't talk to your parents, and if she still does, um, oh, you said she's close with them. Yeah, because I was saying earlier that with the Two of Pentacles, it almost feels like she feels torn between you and your family. And because you have created a divide, like you've removed yourself from a relationship with them, she doesn't know where to like let her loyalty lie. And I think that she feels very like uncomfortable with that. Like when she's seeing you, spending time with you, or talking to you, she's constantly thinking about the other side as well because she's going to hear from both ends. Like if you talk to her at all about things going on with the family and then her family's talking to her about you, she can feel very torn with that. She told me it's her fault and no problem, but she's always dry with me. It wasn't like that growing up. And you're on point with everything you're saying, very conditional. Okay, so there was a shift. So that's what I was wondering is like I'm like, was it not always this way? Because it feels almost like you thought that you guys would always be close or something. And maybe like the rift between your parents is really what caused that divide. Maybe you thought that would like it wouldn't always be this way. Maybe you thought that it would change, but so far you're not really seeing that. I feel almost like the key is your disconnect with your family. I feel like if she felt like you were willing to try to like mend that relationship, that would be easier for her to kind of get back into the groove of the sibling relationship. But that, of course, is probably going to come with its own issues because clearly you don't talk to them for a reason. It's weird because she would tell me if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't know where she would be. But I'll even have her... Wait. But I'll even have to ask her for her to even tell me that. Right. And that energy will never last. She gets dry immediately after. Yeah. I know that sounds really hard. I think when it comes to relationships, it has to be mutual. Both people have to be desiring resolution. And I just gotta say, I think the key is your family, specifically your parents. But like I said, I don't know if that's going to do more harm or not, to try to see if you can mend that connection. I understand, and I absolutely cannot. My parents are so evil. Sorry, T. I think then maybe you should have a conversation with her to basically say that, you know, I don't know, you've been thinking and you don't know like if this is what it is, but it feels like there's been a divide ever since you pulled away from your parents, and for personal reasons that she knows, or maybe she doesn't know, I'm not sure, you don't feel like that's a connection that you ever have any desire of mending, but you would like to focus on the relationship with her, and is that something that she can do? Now here's the thing, T, the other part about it is that some people aren't emotionally available enough to meet you where you're at. And if you've tried and tried and tried, like I said, it's going to take two people to have this desire, but it would require her to be completely transparent and completely honest with you. And if she doesn't have the emotional availability or emotional intelligence, even to have that kind of relationship with you, then maybe that's just not a good thing right now for you to try to restore, I suppose. I feel like it's going to get better, but maybe it's just going to take some time. Yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack there, T, that I think is going to require more than just a mini reading. But more than anything outside of me or a reading, I think that's going to require some tools from maybe licensed professionals to try to figure out how you guys can communicate with each other. So, like, that's a tough place. All right, so this next question is for Amy. Thank you, T. Thank you for your donation. Oh, T, that's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question. I feel like she's being some kind of double agent or something like that. No, I think she loves you. I think it's, like I said, she just has a funny way of showing it. But maybe she feels that she's betraying your parents by communicating with you. Maybe, I mean, you don't really know what your parents are saying to her when you're not around. So it's hard to say. You're welcome, T. All right, so this is for Amy. Amy, I'm reading your question now. All right, so Amy, first of all, I want to say it's definitely a good thing that you're keeping your distance. This is what I was saying. I really wanted to see like if he's going to go out of his way to approach you. The night is still kind of young, so who's to say that could change? But I think that it's important that you see him in person and you see what his actions are towards you, because I think that's really going to help put things into perspective for where his head is at right now. If someone sees you in person and they are not engaging with you, I feel like that tells you everything you need to know for his state of mind at this time. Now, I do think that he has been thinking about approaching you. He has been thinking about saying something. But it's not enough for him to go out of his way right now, or up until this point that you and I are, you're talking and you're at the party. I think that he is still feeling a little bit conflicted about everything, and also considering the level to which you guys were together and the closeness that you guys had, and not really talking much since then. I think that is a little bit awkward, to be honest. I think he might be feeling a little awkward and not really sure. I think what he's doing is just being a scared person, and he's kind of watching your cues to see what it is that he should do. And because of the fact that you aren't really approaching or communicating or anything like that, I think that he feels like that's his sign to keep his distance. Now, I do think that is the difference between a boy and a man, is that a man will pursue you if they're interested, no matter what type of vibe you're giving off. If the person is interested and wants to see if you are interested, they are going to pursue you. They're not going to hang out in the background, and they're not going to be like scared. They're going to be confident enough to approach you and say, hey, what's up? So I think that you're dealing with him feeling a little bit intimidated, a little bit awkward. I do think there have been urges to communicate with you. I think there's been times where he's here's what I'll say. I think he's thinking about you a lot more than he's letting on. I think he's thinking a lot about, should I say something to her? Should I go up to her? Should I talk to her? All this stuff that's going on in his mind. The problem is when you think that much about something, sometimes you don't actually move your feet. You don't actually put action towards that thing. So I think that that's where he's at right now, is he's too much in his head and not enough in his, like, let's go ahead and get it done, if that makes sense. I think that he wants to comment on your costume. I think that he, wants to kind of like take your temperature and just see, like, are you guys cool? Was that night awkward? And now, like, you want nothing to do with him. I think he is concerned about what you think quite a bit. But like I said, it's not enough for him to make the effort right now. So here's what I'm going to say. I do hope that is different. I hope that by the time that your party's done and you're walking away and you listen to this, you are in a place where you're like, oh yeah, we actually said bye to each other, and he kind of talked to me, or he gave me a hug or whatever. But I think for him right now, this is like the tough part. I feel like if you're not pursuing him, the connection will go dry, just because he's trying to figure out what to do here. So he's in a place like a stalemate, Two of Swords, where he doesn't want to decide. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he's just hoping an angel comes down and swoops him up and saves him from this mess that he's made. He does not want to force anything with anyone. He wants to just see the chips falling where they may. So I feel like if you're not pursuing him, he's going to go, okay, that's a sign. And he's just going to pursue this other connection like he originally intended on doing. Now, if you were to pursue him, I think that he would be a little bit more confused, but I think that you would have enough fuel to keep the connection going. The problem with that is that you're still going after someone who's emotionally unavailable to you and not giving to you the undivided attention that you deserve. And then you find yourself repeating these cycles and repeating these patterns as well. I feel like he is... I think he likes that he sees you tonight. I think he likes knowing that you're there. Because like I said, he kind of looks for you, and he, like, if he knows that you're going to be somewhere, he's kind of anticipating it. He's just in a weird place, Amy, if I'm honest. Like, I kind of feel like I'm kind of channeling a little bit, and I feel I'm going, maybe I should talk to her. Maybe I should say something. I should go up to her, tell her about her costume, ask her about mine. Last time was a little weird that we saw each other. Now we're just acting like we don't know each other, and this is kind of awkward. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to force anything. So if she doesn't want to talk, then that's fine with me. It's honestly, truly, I just think he's fine with whatever happens. And we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't really know if he's thinking about you. I know that you said, what's he thinking about your costume? Like, I'm not picking up on any information about what he thinks about your costume. I think he probably thinks everybody looks kind of ridiculous. So you're doing it. You're pulling it off, I guess. I don't know. I'm feeling more than anything just like kind of like awkward and indecision and not really knowing what to do. And I feel like he's almost like waiting on you, and I feel like you're almost waiting on him, and I feel almost like you guys are going to walk away from the night going, okay, that was awkward. That was weird that we're not communicating. And I don't really know what you guys are going to do with this, but he's kind of sweating underneath it all. Like, I wouldn't say he's totally unfazed and unbothered that you guys aren't communicating, but I think that he's allowing that to be a sign for him that if you guys aren't going to communicate tonight, that maybe the other night was just like a fluke and it is what it is. So I feel like he's almost apathetic. Like, I almost feel like he's undecided either way. This is not the strength and determination that you like to see from someone who's determined and who must have you and who's, pining over you and crushing out on you and whatever. This I feel like is speaking a lot to his level of development and maturity. So yeah, Amy, that is what I've got for you for that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next person, which is Virgo, SB. We're about to get started on yours. I know that you said that you put your question on the donation, so I'm going to go ahead and get shuffling for you. But if you're here, feel free to check in with me. All right, SB, I'm going to send you a quick message and let you know we're going to get started. And Jasmine, you are after SB. She's got 2 readings, and then you're next and last on my list. So just get your question prepared for me. You don't have to post it unless you want to. All right, SB, this is for you. All right, so how he feels, the Fool, his true intentions, the King of Wands, what you want, the Page of Wands, what he wants, the Knight of Pentacles, what brings you together, King of Swords, pulls you apart, Queen of Wands, energy around the relationship, Three of Wands, what's hidden, Nine of Swords, and will the relationship be successful, the Chariot. So I feel, and I also cut the deck and got the Ten of Cups. So I feel like there is still like a lot of like very loving, beautiful energy where there's this desire to come together, to become more aligned, feeling like you guys are on the same page, wanting the same things. Will the relationship be successful? I am getting a yes. I do think there's a lot of nervous energy, and that's what's hidden between the two of you. I think that almost like clockwork, doubt or uncertainty starts to creep in because you might be getting very excited about something or looking forward to something and worried that you're going to get your hopes up. I think you both are feeling that way. The energy around the relationship is Three of Wands. It's very open. You guys are definitely interested in seeing where it is that this can go, what brings you together and what pulls you apart. We have the King of Swords being what brings you together and the Queen of Swords being what pulls you apart. It's very interesting. I typically don't get queens and kings in this position. So I think with the weaknesses, with the Queen of Wands, this card talks about being inspired, being your own person, you know, being attractive, turning heads. It's the person that's very free spirited and wants to do what it is that they want to do. And they don't want to be confined or put in a box or like given this like rigidity that they have to follow. And so maybe you guys both have that kind of quality about you where you don't want to be controlled, he doesn't want to be controlled, and feeling like he has to meet your expectations or you have to meet his, I suppose, could potentially be somewhere where you guys have a hard time working through that. I feel like you both are also very attractive people, and so there could be other people that might try to get in the way of the connection. The strength we have is the King of Swords. You guys think very much alike. You're very intelligent, and you both get each other just on a certain level that other people don't really see or understand. But you guys have a lot of things that you can offer one another. And especially when it comes to mental stimulation, I feel like it's like unmatched basically for how he's feeling about you. We have the Fool. So I think he just wants to take a trust fall into the universe. I don't think he's really coming with a plan besides I want this to be different this time, but I think that he is just, this is the card of taking a trust fall into the universe. Like, let's put all the baggage behind us and let's just see if we can make something of it. True intentions is to lead, to basically show you that he's here to want to be a king, to show up, to inspire, to provide, to basically give to you in ways that maybe he hasn't in the past. And what you want, I think, is to just feel the Page of Wands. This person's like dancing, very excited. I think you're just like looking forward to like feeling that moment with him where it's like, okay, this was worth it. Like everything we went through was worth it because it led us to this point. And what they want, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So you guys are kind of on the same page with that. But I feel like he's being very cautious still. I feel like he is a little bit more trying to take things one day at a time. So he's focusing on the here and now right at this time. Okay, So let's take a look at your second question. Oh, that's interesting. So it's funny. I kind of actually touched on I touched on your second question a little bit here with the King of Swords, when I had said that you guys like have a lot to offer one another, especially in terms of like mental stimulation. You guys kind of think the same way, or like you guys have a lot of like understanding of what one another needs or something. So that was interesting that I touched on that. But let's see, why do they work so well? Jasmine, if you're in here, please check in with me. Why do they work together so well? Why do they work together so well? So I know that you guys have led and lead different types of lives, maybe even different lifestyles, but there's this fundamental understanding that you have of one another that honestly just cannot be explained. It's something that you experience with a rarity. It's not common, but once you meet a soul that just like gets you, just understands you, just accepts you for who you are, I think that's where the magic happens, and that's where you get to a point why you guys work so well with one another. It's the feeling like every person that I meet since you, I compare to you. That's you're basically saying like he's the bar. So and that's how he feels too. So whether the bar is high or whether the bar is low, that you are each other's bar. So let's just say since he met you, maybe your beauty and your brains and your intellect, your independence, your thoughtfulness and generosity, your radiance, your beauty, like all of that, his bar is high. And, maybe he's in a place where, like, if he meets someone, like, he's setting you at that bar. But maybe for you, your bar is because of the things that have not worked. So if you're meeting someone, you're like, I need to have a connection like I have with him, but also, and I need to have someone that's going to come for me, that wants me, that makes their intentions clear. And so, like, wherever that bar is, it doesn't matter. The point being is that ever since you guys have met one another, that you try to find each other in other people. And I think that might be the reason why you guys have never really let each other go. You can kind of speak to that as being soulmates or soul ties or something along those lines. But really, like, it's hard to put into words why you guys jive. It's just a matter of fundamentally understanding one another on a human, spiritual, emotional, mental, everything level, and feeling like you guys just click. And not only that, but I think that being able to show up authentically in a connection with one another is also just really beautiful, because I feel like in life, a lot of times you kind of have to wear a mask depending on what you're doing. If you're in a social setting that you don't really know anyone, you come across a certain way. If you're in a professional setting at work, you come across a certain way. It's at home where you can let your hair down. And I feel like you guys are each other's home in that sense. Like, you feel like you can just be authentically yourself, and like you don't have to hide away who you are when you're in this person's presence. Like, maybe you don't always get to say everything you want to say, and in that way you hold back, but I'm referring to your essence, your energy, your aura, your just the way of being who you are. You get to show up authentically because this person's going to accept that version of you, and so you don't have to be something that you're not. I think that you guys just vibe. I mean, and I wish that I could give you a more specific answer to this question, But I think that that's just the magic that happens when you meet a twin soul. So that is what I have for you, SB. Thank you so much for your donations tonight. Last up, we have Jasmine. So Jasmine, if you're here, please check in with me. We've called on Jasmine a couple of times. Jasmine, we need you to come in here, or you'll have to wait until next time to get a reading. All right, final call for Jasmine. I'm going to give her till 11:26 my time. Did Jasmine leave her question with me? I don't think she did. Let me see. She donated for an in-depth. Yeah, that's all I got. Hey, Jazz. Oh my God, you made it just in time. I've got you for an in-depth reading. What's your question? What do we see happening between you and C once you reach out to him via social media? What do I see happening between Jasmine and C once she reaches out to him via social media? What will be his reaction? Do you really want to know? I don't think you're going to get the reaction that you're looking for, or like a response, because I have like cards of disappointment here. Basically, like, it's either he's responding to you in ways that aren't really giving, or he's not responding at all. Because I have 5 of Cups disappointment here, 3 of Swords disappointment, And then I have for his actions 4 of Swords and the Moon, which indicates him being very quiet and retreated into himself. So I don't know, maybe there's a couple ways this is going to play out. You will reach out. He's not going to see the message for a long time. And you feel like, okay, great. Like, and you're probably checking to see if he's read it. And it's just like, well, great. I just like sent him a message and he's not getting it. It could also be that he gets it and just doesn't respond. Or it could be that he does engage with you, but he's not giving you the kind of attention or reciprocation of energy that you're looking for from him. But in some way here, it feels like it's not quite giving like what you're looking for from him. So here's what I will say. My recommendation is maybe give it some time before you'll do this. Check in with the energies again later and see if maybe it changes, because maybe this is just not a good time to try to do this. Maybe he's not in the mental state to reciprocate or something like that. I even have the 4 of Pentacles, which is very conservative, meaning very modest, like keeping to himself, not saying much, not giving you much to go on. So, you know, you can ignore me and you can do what you know, obviously what it is that you want to do. But whenever I get this kind of very closed off, like keeping to yourself energy, especially if you're trying to create conversation with this person, and I get these kinds of cards, it's always something that I would say just wait and see if the energy shifts and see if it's any better like next time, because a lot of times people reach out to someone because they're hoping to get some kind of response from them. And if you are expecting something in return from him or hoping for something in return, this is not the time to receive that kind of energy. Yeah, I did notice on social media he hasn't been posting. So yeah, so I don't really know like if there's a better place to try to reach out to him. Maybe social media just isn't his thing. So I'm not trying to tell you that you're going to be rejected. I'm just saying that, you know, to answer your question, what will happen, and because you said, what do you see happening and what will his reaction be? And it just feels very closed off. So I just don't think you're going to get what you want from that specifically. Is it you? Is he not interested? Girl, I have no idea. I don't really want to answer that question with these cards that I pulled because I don't want to get the wrong answer. Just because the question that I asked was, what will his response be? So I'm not trying to like mix I'm not trying to like mix up these answers and get confusing. I'm not trying to get confused. I don't want to confuse you. Because if I go by these cards to answer your question, you're not going to like what I have to say. But you know, Spirit's very literal. I feel like if I ask a question, they're going to show me the cards for that specific question that I asked. So yeah. That's why, like, when people will say, like, for instance, they'll like ask me a yes no question and they'll be like, should I move to California or would that be a bad idea? You know, because if it's not California, then should I go to North Carolina? And if I don't do North Carolina, then should I work at Barnes and Noble? Like, I mean, they'll ask me like literally 6 things in one question and try to get away with that further yes no, and I'm like, girl, I can only answer one of these things. Like, Spirit is not going to know how to answer such a complicated and complex thing. They're not going to know like how to show me, so I have to be very, very matter of fact and like black and white, and I just don't want to like confuse the question. But yeah, so sorry about that. But how about next time? Maybe next time you can check back in on the energy. Or you can ask that, or you can ask like, is it you? Is he not interested? and we can look into that a little bit further. I would stay on a little longer, but I've already been here like 45 minutes longer than I planned on being this evening. So definitely check back in with me if you're still curious. We can look into this a little further, maybe sometime next week if you're interested. But yeah, that's what I've got. If you do end up reaching out to him, obviously let me know how it goes. But let's just say if I were pulling cards for myself and this is the energy that I received, I would not be reaching out. I would just wait and check back in another time. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jasmine. Have a great rest of your night. Anyone else that's hanging out with me, I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see everyone next week.